What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. If you don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
Alright, so we gotta talk about this topic today. So, apparently, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will not hit the Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, according to a prominent leaker. Now, before we get things started, we're still on the road to 20,000 subscribers. If you're into Nintendo Switch 2 content and you're not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And of course, if you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. So, according to this rumor and this leak, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 will not be coming to the Switch 2 at the same time as the other versions. Now, a lot of people have already taken this story to say that Black Ops 7 just isn't coming to the Switch 2, or it's not coming this year, but that's not what the leak said. The leak said that they are hearing that the Switch 2 may not get Black Ops 7 at the same time as the other versions, which honestly would not be too crazy considering the fact that most of the Call of Duties that have come to Nintendo systems in the past weren't on time with the other versions, whether it's due to the time the console launched, like with the Wii U, or the fact that it just simply got later ports. But what this doesn't say is how much longer after the other versions this could potentially launch. Because technically, if it comes out a week later, it's still not there at launch. And I think people are getting kind of, out of control with this story, because just them saying that it's not available at launch could or could not be a big deal depending on what's actually going on. If the game comes out for Switch 2 a week later, is that really that big of a deal? Now, do I think that Black Ops 7 is still coming out for the Switch 2? Absolutely. Do I think it's still coming out for the Switch 2 this year? Yeah. Now, a lot of people are bringing up the Microsoft 10-year binding contract, where Microsoft said that it would release its Call of Duty games on Nintendo systems day and date with the Xbox versions, with full feature parity, or they said full feature parity when possible, or something like that. And if this is true, that means that would be breaking the contract. So people are taking from this that if the Black Ops 7 does not come out on the Switch 2 the same day as the other versions, that would be breaking the contract unless Microsoft isn't planning to bring this game to Switch 2 at all, and they're waiting for next year's version. Well, here's my thoughts on that. Now, yes, there is a contract, and supposedly that's the things that is said in that contract. But if Nintendo and Microsoft agree that it's a better idea to release the Switch 2 version at a different date, that's not breaking the contract. That's an agreement between those two companies. Now, the contract says that they need to do it day and date, but if the console maker has no problem with that and wants it at a different date, then that's not breaking the contract. So my theory on this, if this is even ends up being true and Black Ops 7 does come out later on the Switch 2 than the other versions, it could possibly be due to other Nintendo games coming to the Switch 2 during that time. You see, it's been so long since a Call of Duty game has come to a Nintendo system that Nintendo has never had to worry about Call of Duty and sales going against its titles. So maybe there are some games coming out for the Switch 2, whether there be big third-party games that Nintendo's finally getting, or its own first-party games that come out around this November launch date that either Nintendo or Microsoft, or maybe both of them, don't want competing with for sales. If Nintendo has some big major first party exclusive that they plan to launch around that time, maybe they don't want to launch that against Call of Duty. Or maybe Microsoft doesn't want to launch Call of Duty against a big first party IP. Maybe the timing is just off. Maybe they don't want the sales to cannibalize each other. I think that if this is legit, that could possibly be the case, and we'll see Black Ops 7 come out for the Switch 2 a couple weeks later, or maybe even in December. Because honestly, if that happened, it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. And you know that these publishers want to try to get the double dips as much as they can anyway. So they know that people that can't wait to play the game will buy the game day one on PlayStation 5 or whatever. And then if a Switch 2 version came out a month later, they double dip on that. So, you know, these publishers know what they're doing. But then again, we still have where there has been and there will continue to be versions of Switch 2 games that don't get announced at the same time at the other versions, but yet magically still pop up on the Switch 2. I think the same thing actually happened with this same leaker with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake or remaster or whatever. That leak didn't initially confirm a Nintendo Switch 2 version or mention a Nintendo Switch 2 version, and lo and behold, a Nintendo Switch 2 version came out the same day as everything else. So just because a Switch 2 version hasn't been announced yet doesn't mean it's not coming out, and doesn't really mean that it's not coming out at the same time as the other versions either. Remember, there is a bunch of major Black Ops 7 information that will be coming out in the next 2 days. Who knows, a Switch 2 announcement could be coming in 2 days. Now, they may announce that the Switch 2 version is coming after the other versions, but like I said, even if that's the case, I don't see that being more than a month after the other versions. So even if it does come later to the Switch 2, I think December is at the latest. They're not going to wait until like November or something for that to happen. So anyway, or wait until January, should say, for that to happen. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Probably shouldn't jump the gun until this Call of Duty information, all the information actually comes out. But it is interesting that we're this close to launch, and it looks like the Switch 2 version may or may not hit at the same time as the other versions. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section.